I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This session of the Lincoln County Commission on May the 20th, 2010 at 10 a.m. is now called to order. Members present: Donald P. Whitten, Clerk; Charles McCann, President; Charles Vance, Commissioner; Thomas Raymond Jr., Commissioner. Before we go any further, I need to amend the agenda to let it reflect the last item in new business, where I need a motion to approve an interoffice budget revision for the coal severance.
Is your motion to add that to the agenda? So, second.
I'll second that, just because we went through this before the next meeting.
Yeah, you got it. Oh, yes, the motion carries.
Next thing on the agenda, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular session of the Lincoln County Commission meeting that was held on May the 6th, 2010 at 6 p.m.
So moved. Second. Oh, yes, motion carries.
We don't have anything under discussion or concern, so we go on to old business. Rick McDowell, he is going to talk to us about the EPA grant, ARRA Green Project Grant, and the West Virginia Efficient Energy and Conservation Block Grant.
Welcome,
I'll
Rick.
try to talk about all those fast. Thank you.
You have your timekeeper here.
I do?
You don't?
Well, and I'll relax. Good. Let me give you an update first on the ARRA. That's the first page there. This is the stimulus. We've got stimulus money. It's coming through the state DEP to put in 19 more systems in the left fork of the Mud River. On the 12th, we had a EPA person, because even though this is DEP, state DEP, it's the federal EPA that's giving the money. We had a person from the federal office in Philly come down to audit the project's Davis-Bacon, which is the prevailing wage, whether we were following that correctly, and to audit the Buy America compliance. Everything except 5% of the purchases have to be for things made in the U.S. So she came down to do that. We went into the field. She felt everything was fine. I haven't got any final report from her, but didn't seem to be any problem. We were scheduled to try to solve that problem with the one system that had such a high water table. We were going to do that on the 13th, but we had heavy rains and flooding. And in fact, we had another problem develop there, so we postponed that until we could get some dry weather. On the 11th, I had a chance to do some samples both in the creek and direct discharge, but I wanted to share with you these direct discharge samples. These systems are high-tech enough so that the final effluent from the home septic system that goes through all these things to clean it up, it can actually go and be discharged into the creek. But we've been testing what comes out just to double check that the systems are working as well as they should. So we've got 4 homes that we tested here. What we're looking at as sort of our benchmark is 200 colonies for E. coli per 100 milliliter bottle, which is what we collect. So 3 of them, 2 of which are ARRA project and 1 of which is an EPA project that went in December, were fine. They were all under 50, but the one at Kevin Farrell's, which has been a problem for a long time, was 34,000 colonies, which is way out of line. I'll talk about that a little later and ask for some advice from the commission on what to do about it. At this point, of the 19 homes that we are allowed to put in new systems for the ARRA project, 8 of the 19 are in, so we're at 42%. So we're moving along pretty well. What we're waiting on now is the weather, to see what happens. The next couple pages that are paper clipped together deal with the system of Kevin Farrell's. That was the one that had that high reading. Just a little history, that system went in October 2007. It's a 650 Premier Tech heat system. The 650 means that it's supposed to handle 650 gallons a day. That's what it's designed to do. This was originally for one home. We made the decision to put a second home on. Nobody said we were crazy. Ashco themselves, although they're not saying it now, were suggesting that we do this because the two homes were together. So we did. As you can see on the next couple pages, we started doing sampling there in March '08, and we've continued to sample through this May. We've had 23 times that we sampled for E. coli, and only once has the reading been in the acceptable limit. So it just is not performing as it should. So when we started getting these bad readings, we started calling people and asking questions and trying to get some help. People got concerned. We had a couple meetings in Hamlin with manufacturers, with people who understood this stuff. There was not a consensus of what the problems were. In March '09, people from Premier Tech, which is a company that makes this, they're Canadian, they came down. They met with us. We decided to completely pump the tanks, to take out some of the peat, put in new peat, let the tanks begin all over again. They thought that might take care of it. Didn't take care of it. They also raised the idea that the system was being overloaded. We worked with Mike Mosteller. He lent us a water meter, so we hooked the water meter up to the wells, and from February '09 through June '09, the average for both homes, the average gallons per day was 250 gallons a day, which is not a whole lot of gallons being used for a machine that's supposed to take 650 gallons. So we tried to rule out all the things that people have suggested to why we've got a problem. The system was put in by Ashco in Morgantown. They were the first company to put in a system. They put in a number of systems in the EPA project. They've sort of disappeared from the scene. Let's see, last November, I emailed the president asking for some help and some suggestions. Then later in November, when I didn't hear from him, I sent him some certified mail. We got a receipt that they picked it up at the post office, but nothing happened. They didn't say anything. And then in March, we went ahead and separated the two homes out. So Kevin's is by itself. Bubby's, the other home, is separate. We hope that might solve the problem. The problem hasn't gotten solved. It's not as bad, but it's still way over the limit.
How about the other?
The other one's working fine. In fact, the first page, Bubby Pauley's, that's the second home. That was less than 10 E. coli per 100, so it's doing great. And then on the 11th, I sent Paul another letter asking for his suggestions, his help. There's a copy of that letter there, and they received it, so I haven't gotten any response. So